Hello, you. Yeah, somebody on the last video says don't give up the day job. He says I'm not a stand-up comedian or a sit-down comedian. Oh, I know that, but hey ho. Oh. Hello, you. Oh dear. Anyway, this morning, unlike some people, I have to go out. Unlike some person we know what we're talking about. Is that I had to go out and work on a Saturday. I don't like working on a Saturday. I was up at 5:30 this morning, and I was working for 8 hours today, so I'm a bit tired. And I'm in my son's bedroom, just in case you wonder what the kitchen looks a bit different. It's not the kitchen, and round about 10 to 6. While I was making my brekkie, I perchance on a thread that I follow in relation to Lloydgate or Prosygate, and there's a guy who I've never heard of before, but this is to say this is probably the most interesting thing that about this whole saga, that I've been blinkered a bit because I don't have a lot of time to look at the people's stuff, and yet there is a load of people who do anti-witness stuff out there, so all is not lost. There's a guy called Faithful Slave. He looks like he looks a little bit like Jesus with specs and a little bit larger. Like he looks like an unfit Jesus with glasses, but needless to say, and he seems to be a bit miffed that he isn't one of the 12. Well, if he wants to take my place, he's more than welcome. However, he spotted something on Lloyd's original confession video, that video, which because it's quite a long video, and it certainly took me by an absolute surprise and shock when I watched it. Something I missed out on, but but what he's honed in on is really interesting when it relates to what is going on at the moment in relation to litigation, Little Lloyd. It's quite interesting, and all the people who still support him. But I just want to backtrack a little bit on Silvio's rather fantastic response to Lloyd. I only sort of slightly mentioned it last night, and I just want to bring out a couple of things. In relation to the time frame, she says, and I'm sure she brought this out on the video to Capitan, who also is one of the 12, in relation to the time frame on the video. And for instance, the interesting thing is, why did he go to Thailand in the first place, and also the timing of go to Thailand. Apparently, I'm not too sure if I've got the facts correct here, but I think his wife discovered photos on his phone, because it seems as though Lloyd, now we've had further proof of this, after those other photos came out, he likes to record his paid conquests. So maybe that he can then go through it again, and him and Little Lloyd can go through the whole experience again. And then apparently his wife found these photographs, although this is far as I remember the story, but I might have got this bit wrong, so don't quote me on this. This isn't set in stone at all. But apparently she found photographs, and then she had it out with Lloyd and Little Lloyd, and basically, once he got caught out, he then decided that he wanted to have, as Kim calls it, I would call it an open marriage, but she calls it an ENM, which is exclusive non-monogamous relationship. And what happens is that apparently Kim has got proof that she says that Evans decided to go to Thailand prior to the 16th of December 2021, as he was upset with his wife. The reason he was upset with her related to the fact that initially his wife had agreed to participate in an ENM. However, upon a short period of reflection, a day or so, decided that she did not wish this type of relationship. So for all those people who still, and all the female Lloydites out there who still think this guy is a nice guy. In fact, somebody put on the big juicy homegrown tomato video I put on the other day, because I don't know if you noticed that, but the actual picture I put up was split off. And if you never got what I was trying to get at on the video of the I call it the thumbnail, but the dual thumbnail, if you don't get the picture on the left, you missed an in-house joke there, but never mind. And obviously nobody did. So definitely I should not give up the day job. Anyway, so getting back to that video, somebody actually put on, oh, you can really tell what's in a man's heart the way he treats animals. You are deluded. The way somebody treats animals, somebody can treat animals lovely, and then when it comes to treating their wife, they're horrible. So just because somebody treats animals well, it doesn't mean they're a nice person, that their heart is nice. I know some people actually prefer the company of animals and treat animals better than they actually do their own children and wives, but let's not go into that. So basically, what she says, that apparently his wife wasn't into this, but can you imagine the scenario? And I can only imagine this scenario, but this may not be the actual scenario, that she discovered photographs, had it out, and he says, I want to have an open marriage. And I don't think she wants an open marriage at all. And yet this would make him sleep better at night, because when he's been obviously spending the past 4 years with his prostitute addiction, that probably it may have bothered his conscience a tad. I don't know. Clearly it didn't stop him, and he didn't want his conscience being pricked anymore, and thought, if I can get my wife to say this is okay, then I won't feel bad about this at all. And this is, I think, what he was after. And of course, for her to then say, oh, I'm agreed to this, but then she's thinking, actually, I don't want to have sexual relations with anybody else apart from my husband. And she may have thought this was the best thing to agree to, because lots of women, unfortunately, well, it's not just women as well, because obviously it's not always men women who are, you know, the good and bad or whatever. And it can be lots of partners can then acquiesce to their other partners' requests, because they're doing it for the sake of the marriage and the children. And in the end, it doesn't work out. Doing it for the sake of the children doesn't work out, and they really should have at that point taken a break. And she may have thought initially, because it might have been quite an emotional charged scenario, I don't know, because none of us were there, so I'm only guessing here, and that she said, okay, yeah, I agree to the fact that we'll have an open marriage and you can sleep with whoever you like. The problem is, somehow, I don't know what's going on here, but Lloyd doesn't seem to be the babe magnet he imagines him to be. Otherwise, I'm sure he could have pulled many of his Lloydites while he's been circling the globe. But apparently, he can only find women who will sleep with him if he pays them. So clearly, he isn't the let me just at this point use this. He isn't the magnet. He actually says he actually is. He clearly isn't, because he has to pay women to do this. And unfortunately, prostitutes who end up, you know, in that horrible industry will accept money from anybody, including Lloyd and little Lloyd. You can just imagine that his wife's thinking, well, he's going off doing his touring, doing his activism work around the globe, and he's coming back with God knows what sort of diseases little Lloyd has got. You know, if you just think about that, little Lloyd is right. So basically, you can imagine that she was afraid to go anywhere near little Lloyd again, and therefore she she just thought, why am I agreeing to this? And then she changed her mind, and then Evans got so riled. It says that Mr. Evans was infuriated and he determined he needed to get away from her, as it is a head. That changed her mind. So he bums off to Thailand. This is the only reason why he went to Thailand, because his wife would not agree to an open marriage where Lloyd was able to go out with little Lloyd and basically pay women all over the world to have sex with him because he isn't the babe magnet that he makes out to. I would suggest to all the female Lloydites out there, would you be happy if that was your husband? Would you happy if they actually said, oh, by the way, I want an open marriage so I can go and sleep with prostitutes and I can sleep better at night and you can't come back and make a big deal of it? If you still think that conduct's fine, you seriously need to go and see somebody for some special therapy. Maybe Lloyd could recommend somebody to see. And it looks like this all happened, I think, just after Christmas. So it looks like shortly after. Imagine, imagine how crap that Christmas would have been. I'm staying till Christmas, to Christmas dinner. But while before the dishes are still hot, I'm off. It clearly, unless I've got the timeline wrong here, it appears that Lloyd, at the start of the new year, the start of 2022, was not with his wife in Croatia. It appears that he was in Thailand. And the sickening thing is like being the guy is, he went and took more pictures in Thailand, which of course then got leaked by, we'll never get round but how they got leaked. I don't even want to guess. And of course it's him with somebody who looks very, very young. You can't guess how old she is. And then when those photos came out, he then had to do another statement saying that, oh, by the way, any persons I met working in clubs or people who worked in the sex industry were all over 20, so nothing illegal happened according to the laws in Thailand and America. Bizarre why he just concentrate those two countries. I can understand Thailand, but I don't know what America, maybe has a lot of people in America paying money, I don't really know. The fact of the matter is, as we all know, that the prostitution and asking somebody for sex by paying them money is illegal in most countries in the world. So it doesn't matter, well, I say that again, it does matter how old the person was, but still he engaged in a criminal activity abroad. And as I've said before several times, as even Kim alludes to, and especially in Thailand, Thailand's made up of 40% of the prostitutes in Thailand are sadly child sex workers. It's just horrible, and therefore there was a good chance if he paid two Thai workers to engage with sex with him over there, there's a good possibility one of them at least was somebody who formerly was a child prostitute. And as we know, that Lloyd Evans has bigged up his claim to still be an advocate against the cover-up of child sex abuse, and he's just an enabler. So that's where I really had a problem with this, which is what I said initially in my first reaction to his old live stream event. So again, all I can say to you is, if you are a female Lloydite, how can you still defend this man and still say it's none of our business? It really, honestly, it beggars. But how can you still have respect for this man who shortly after Christmas, hopefully it wasn't before Christmas because that would make it even worse, but shortly after Christmas then buggers off to Thailand because his wife won't engage in an open relationship where, anybody can come and go quite literally, and she doesn't want to do that because because of the sake of the kids, the marriage, and she probably still loves the man, and he doesn't. Imagine if that was your husband or your wife and they wanted that, so please, if you think that is, if you think that sort of behaviour is honourable or respectable or okay, you definitely need to have a look in the mirror and punch yourself. The other thing that Kim brought out, which is really, I've said all along, I just want to go into a little bit more, was to dealing with the money. All along, Lloyd Evans has been saying to us, it's my free time and my money to do what I like. Well, unfortunately, as I've said so many times, it's not just him that's saying that. Because he said that, all the Lloydites repeat the same crap on my channel, on his channel, and on all the other channels, saying it was Lloyd's money and he could do with it what he's like. At the end of the day, it wasn't his money. As Kim goes on to say, a user asked a question in a JW Watch Reddit survey. You can read this yourself, but basically indicating the above in response to the question, confirming that he has four main streams of revenue: Patreon pledges, YouTube and revenue, Teespring, Amazon loyalties from book sales. Evans confirms that of the revenue streams, Patreon and YouTube make up the bulk. So basically, quite simply, the money that comes in from the Patreon pledges and for people watching his YouTube videos, that makes the bulk of his income. He doesn't have another job. He doesn't, you know, his homegrown juicy tomatoes channel never took off. He doesn't do, and he probably hasn't done a day's grafting for the past 10 years. This is all he does. All the money comes in from people giving him money, thinking that that money is going towards activism. Mr. Evans confirms that the money, this is all the money, gets churned into wages, equipment, service subscription and fees, travel costs, other business expenses. Mr. Evans confirms if there is money left over at the end of the month, this gets churned back into the company so that we can plan for future projects. He confirms that he's professionally full-time ex-Jehovah's Witness writer and activist. And let's just go on to his Patreon page. I just want to confirm, just go into Lloyd Evans' statement. He actually says on his own Patreon page for wanting to get people to send him money, he actually says, that is why I'll always be immensely appreciative to those of you who have been chosen to support my work on Patreon, even if you can only pledge $1 or $2 per month. This all goes towards keeping me involved in the important work of churning out content. I don't know if that's a double entendre there. Churning out content. Maybe he was referring to other churning out of something else he's doing. So basically that's it, and Kim actually refers to that in a statement. She actually quotes that and says, actually, Mr. Evans' confirmation that his income is derived solely through sources his income is solely derived through sources generated through his activism work. He doesn't have another job. He wasn't up 5:30 this morning doing driving for 8 hours, believe you me. So given this fact, and this is absolutely bang on by it, and this is what sets the whole ball rolling. Given this fact, any prostitution could only have been paid through income derived through his activism work. So sorry for all those who still say, but it's Lloyd's money. It was up for him what to do with it. It was like it wasn't. His money was generated by people who've given him money, believing that money was solely to go work for his activism. I don't know how much flights are from Thailand and back. Maybe, you know, Croatia's nowhere near Thailand for anybody who wants to look on the map. I've been to Croatia. I haven't been to Thailand. And I never went to see Lloyd Evans in his basement before you ask. I've been to Croatia twice. And Croatia is nowhere near Thailand. So I imagine the return journey, maybe about €1,000, I would believe. I may be wrong. But so those €1,000, if you think the guy, truth seeker atheist, or atheist truth seeker, maybe, I can't remember his name, the guy who actually had the balls to put a video on saying I used to be a top Patreon tipper, he, imagine for the 4 years that he's been paying him £250 a year, that's £1,000 potentially he paid for the ticket for Lloyd to go to Thailand. And I don't know how much Lloyd paid to acquire the services of sex workers over there, but somebody else would have paid for that. So it's quite simply, if you were thank God I never was. Thank God I never ever paid this man a single buck or a dollar or a euro or a pound coin or a cent for this guy's activism work, because I'd feel slightly defrauded at the moment and conned and scammed. I'm sure there's lots of legal phrases that can be used for acquiring misappropriating funds? I don't know, but it's misappropriate the funds sent to him that were supposed to be used for activism. When he went to Thailand and back, there was no hi, this is Lloyd and little Lloyd in Thailand. I'm going to interview some people. There was none of that. So that journey there and back on his own, on his Todd, apart from Little Lloyd, and engage sex workers over there. If I was a patron, I would then be going down sort of legal means to try and get my money back, because I think he's ripped people off completely. I'm sure there's some legal phraseology for it. I don't know what it is. And then finally, Kim says, I would think it unnecessary to provide evidence that the sex worker industry is an industry known for the exploitation of women and minors. In fact, it is in dispute. I would be more than happy to provide particulars in relation to this item. So basically, you know, she we all know, yes, especially Thailand, you know, we all know. And if you want to just look it up, the connection between child sex abuse, yes, some people may dispute that, but I think the facts alone speak for themselves if you want to go over there. So at the end of the day, yet again, for those Lloydites and for Lloyd himself to say it's his money to do with it what he likes, it wasn't. His money was given to him in good faith, that it's for activism, that's his only source of income, and it's supposed to be ploughed back so he could, to quote him, what was the word, to churn out content. It's clearly churning out something else from Little Lloyd when he was over in Thailand. And I don't know how much content was there, but ooh, I wouldn't go near that if you paid me, to be honest with you. Dirty Little Lloyd. Ooh, gives you the willies. Ooh, just a thought. Anyway, let's get back to the video this morning. Interestingly, this guy brings out, and I will quote the video because I do not have the means to do this split video where I'm on one side and on the other side is Lloyd and overlap videos. I'm just going to have to quote what Lloyd says. Now, this is what he said on that infamous live stream video. I just want to say this. It says, this is it was sort of summing up, as you do with typical Jehovah's Witnesses talks. I will let the audience adjudicate, you know. Are things as grave as Kim would like you to believe? I think they are. Actually, he never said I think you are. That's just me. That's just me responding. You know. I'm saying you know a lot. So let's do that one. I will let the audience adjudicate, you know. Are things as grave as Kim would like you to believe? You know. You be the judge. In line with Little Lloyd's litigation letters, that's quite interesting. And for all those who have said on my channel and the other channels and Lloyd's channel, it's none of your business. It's none of your business. Why are you talking about things? Why are you talking about things? Why are you continually talking about things? It's none of your business what Lloyd got up to or gets up to in his private time with his own money. It's not his money. And for Lloyd Evans, it's none of anybody's business what I get up to in my private time with my own money. It's not your money. Okay. It's none of our business what Lloyd gets up to in his private time with other people's money. I'm glad we got that one sorted out. But sadly it is, because Lloyd has asked all of us to adjudicate, you know. Adjudicate. Here we go. What does that actually mean? Well, basically, I'll just explain. It's obvious what it means, but let's have one of the definitions. Make a formal judgment on a disputed matter. And it was basically Kim had said one thing, and then Lloyd sort of confirmed what Kim had said, and a few things said what Kim had said wasn't quite right, but he sort of confirmed them. But we were left the audience to the channel. Now, I was an audience member. I watched his channel. I watched that video. So basically, he therefore was giving everybody who watched that video, the audience, and anyone who wants to watch it again, the audience, to adjudicate, you know. You be the judge. And it is so ironic, because that's what we went and did. All of us, the 12, That's what we went and did. We went and then did as Lloyd asked us to do. We then adjudicated on a disputed matter, and we were the judge. Do you see what I'm getting here? So basically, he told us to do it. He never said on his video, I don't want anybody to judge me. I don't want anybody to adjudicate on this dispute. He said the audience could. And as me and many others of the 12 who do their let their feelings known through the format of social media and through YouTube videos. You know, I've said this before, I've been doing YouTube videos for 4 years, and I'd uploaded maybe 80 videos. Yes, the past 30 not have all been about this matter, but there's been nothing else to talk about, to be honest with you, and this, to be honest with you, is a big deal. And so therefore, all the rest of the people who are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and not just ex-Jehovah's Witnesses too, have also become adjudicated on this matter, and have come to an informed decision, and have let people know through the medium of YouTube and other social media their feelings, how they, as Lloyd has asked us to be the judge, and we have therefore let him know our verdict. We've let him know our verdict. And it's interesting that he's chose 12, because in most cases where it goes to court, the amount of jurors are 12. So spooky. So anyway, so that's what we've done. We've adjudicated. He's asked us to be the judge, and we have actually done a summary. We have done a summary on this disputed matter. Some of us have just done it on forums. Some of us have done it on forums. Lots of people have waded in, but if you ever look at these forums, some of the forums literally it goes on and on and on and on and on. I just start to lose the plot after a bit. I'd rather just somebody just talks while I can get on and do other stuff like drive or do the washing or whatever, which I'm sure that anybody watching my videos actually does. I'm sure they don't just sit there with their laptop and watch me, because there's not an awful lot going on, and there's no music to sort of, to heighten the mood, and I'm sure they just listen to what I'm talking to with, while they're jogging, or I don't know what they're doing, maybe on the toilet, I don't really know, having a cup of tea and a biscuit, I don't know, but so that's what we have done. So basically George who's George? So basically, James Lloyd Evans has invited us to adjudicate on a disputed matter for us to be the judge, and we have now provided him with our findings. And what he's done now in relation to the 12 receiving these letters of litigation, it's tantamount to trying to sue the judge and the jury. This is what this is tantamount to. He doesn't agree with our verdict. He doesn't agree with the summing up. And basically, he's not happy. He's not happy with our findings in the disputed manner. So because we haven't all found in his favour, he's decided to sue the jurors and the judge. It's ironic. And so therefore, I'm afraid Lloyd and all the Lloydites out there, I'm afraid, sorry, when it comes to us talking about these matters and adjudicating, the invitation was given by James Lloyd Evans on that video. So basically, that is what we've done. And that's it. That's really the video. And interestingly, I'd forgotten that's what Lloyd had asked us to do. And he did do it. And it's there. And it's saved. And one further thing, if this ever goes down to the road of that he does want to eventually initiate further litigation, he'd have to do it in whichever country the person lives. And it's going to cost him more money than hiring a lawyer, and there could be a judge and jurors involved, And evidence number one would be clearly that video. And after a judge would watch that, I don't see how, you know, there would be a case to answer for all the rest of us who've decided in our own manner to adjudicate on these matters, because he's asked her to do that. But imagine that he did. Imagine he went down the road. This is a guy who's already split the ex-Jehovah's Witness community in half because of his own narcissistic behaviour. And if he took this any further, can you imagine the waves that would go through the community even more? He would absolutely sure would lose more Patreon support. He'd lose that source of income. And as I said before, to me it's all been about the money. This is all been about the money all along. So I'm just going to leave it there. Tomorrow I have a day off, so I might be a little fresher than I am now, because I'm very tired, to be honest with you. Even though it's only 5 o'clock. I'm going to go down and watch a football match tonight, but I am very tired. So sorry for not being a natural comedian and appealing to everybody's funny bones. Hey. I'm clearly not everybody's cup of tea. Knowing me, knowing you. Right. Well, that's it. Have a great evening, and tomorrow I'm going to do another video already, and it's actually dealing with the legacy of the Lloyd Evans channel. It's going to do, because according to Lloyd, this is all about the legacy he wants to leave behind. I'm actually going to discuss that legacy, and also bring into a focus sort of a Lloyd Evans statement there. I'm going to bring into focus all the people who did some good things and then something bad happened, and what their legacy now is. It's all about the legacy, you know. It's got nothing to do with that. So that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for bearing with me. That was far longer than it was meant to be. But I'm sorry it dragged on a bit. But you know, like I said, a bit mentally tired. That's no advertisement. Always the way. Oh, what a band. In fact, no, you can't buy this t-shirt. I've only got 2. We actually did a gig in Glasgow Ivory Blacks several years ago, and we thought it would be fun if somebody printed a few t-shirts up. The guitarist wore one on stage. I thought, I'm not wearing that, it's crap. And at the end of the night, there had been a few sold, and we all got a bit of money left, and there were 2 left. So I took them home. This is the first time I'm sure I've never worn this t-shirt. I was looking for a t-shirt to wear for the lols and the bands, but anyway, always the way. Anyway, enjoy your day. Bye bye. I'm off.